and you see that very seldom. Now, a lot of times when people start out in this business, they get all hung up on unmarked items. Unmarked items, whether you're a beginner or a seasoned veteran, they're always the same. They're a bonus, and they're the exception to the rule, and you just do not see much of it. So I would encourage people to not be disillusioned by unmarked items. You just do not find that much of it. Something I wanted to add to that was when you're looking at these here good chains, the ones you want to watch out are these big flat chains. And if you study the luster, the patina, the finish of that gold, the way it shines, you will see patterns develop. And I see quite a bit of these marked 14 karat. I don't think I've ever seen any marked 10 karat. And what I'm talking about is fakes. If it's marked 10 karat, you can pretty much guarantee it's going to be good. If it's marked 14, then without having your acid standing by, you really have to kind of look at the luster. This will have a chrome look, especially here at the ends. You might see what looks like a smoke residue or a beginning tarnish. So that can clue you in that this is no good. If you have a magnet, check that. A lot of times they don't get hit with magnets, so that's not going to be much of a help. I also might mention these here. These are always have like an old patina tarnish on them. And these are those Victorian I call it a round box link. This chain has a name, and I don't remember what it is, but it's basically little circles put together, and they're real old. These are usually 10 karat gold. You got to watch because a lot of them are gold filled as well, but some of these are hefty. And what it looks like sometimes is like a hoop earring cut in half, and then they've made links out of it. I don't really know what to describe that as. Half of a piece of tubing bent around upon itself, so the concave is the exterior of the chain link. If you see one of those, you'll recognize it, and then you'll always recognize it. Now in gold, those are getting quite hard to pick. They used to be real plentiful back in 1980. And when you run across something like these here, which have a non-standard female end for a jump chain,
I see it.
Then you're just going to have to make a closer inspection of that item. Video has to do with the silver bending as a means to classify pieces. And I guess pickers would tend to use this as a confirmation method for picking items perhaps that were unmarked, or perhaps had an unusual marking, or perhaps they were unable to see the marking, etc. Don't leave your loop at home is what I would say. Unmarked stuff, but as I've covered in many videos, that is super rare. And you can do the bend test with anything. Any of you that are familiar with testing the likelihood of a gold pocket watch, you know you are going to see some conservative metal use that's going to make gold watches, at least antique ones, pretty much stand out because of little dents you'll see in the backside, etc. The way they flex when you push in on them with your thumb. Silver's kind of the same way. And I've never done this video because I think it's very hard to quantify. It's a tactic or a test or I hate to call it a skill. It's more of an experience than a skill, but it is a no tools method of classifying your silver or trying to confirm what it is you're looking at. Very commonly used when you're dealing with bracelets, the way that flexes. And you know, to get a handle on that, you're just going to have to study a bunch of junk jewelry and a bunch of good stuff, because the feel is almost always the same. And I'll show you a piece here in a minute that's going to make a liar out of me. But basically, you've got this little child's silver cup, and if it doesn't do that real easily with one hand, then you're going to want to take a closer look at it, because silver is very soft. And not only is it soft, but they design the pieces to use as little metal as possible. Even if it was made in 1880, they're not going to make some behemoth with a lot of strength, because it would just simply have cost them too much in materials. Flatware, you know, if I have 50 pieces that come in and they match, you know, I only need to look at one, so I'm going to look at that one. You know, even if it's marked, I'm going to want to bend it. You've seen how I bent that? That's how silver should bend. Now, to get a handle on that, you're just going to have to compare it. I don't have a resistance machine to give you the mathematical numbers of what the stress force amount or resistance is, or the spring back. And I think it would vary. As far as the spring back, it would vary a lot. And I'll show you a piece here in a minute that definitely falls into that category.